right, it's approaching 6:30, time for a public hearing for the town of Iowa Council, public hearing at City Hall, questions and comments on adopting ordinance number 2021-06, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, reapportioning single-member voting districts for the Board of Council members for the town of Iowa, Louisiana, in accordance with the 2020 census. Whereas there are presently 4 single-member voting districts for the town of Iowa designated as districts A, B, C, and D, and said districts have been created by ordinance 2011-05, and whereas according to the 2020 census of the U.S. Census Bureau, and after considering all annexations, the mayor and board of council members of the town of Iowa commissioned a reapportionment study which determined that unequal apportionment of the municipal population exists, and therefore the boundaries of the 4 single-member voting districts should be changed to reflect as nearly as possible an equal apportionments of said population as required by law, particularly Louisiana Revised Statute 33-382 and Louisiana Revised Statute 33-1371. Be it ordained by the mayor and board of council members of the town of Iowa in regular session assembled that the town of Iowa ordinance number 2011-05 be and the same is hereby amended. And it goes on to list each of the separate sections, which I'll forego if it's all right with y'all reading at this point. And that said ordinance was therefore declared and adopted, which will be this day in 2021, mayor and city clerk. So if anybody has any questions or anything about it, please, this is your time to come forward and bring up any questions. Generally, there is some changes that were made. I think Ash Ridge is one of them that was changed, and there's been some minor changes to the others, but generally the districts with the sitting members is still going, those members will still be in the districts that they have. Anybody have any questions or anything they want to say about it? Not seeing anybody coming forward or bringing forth, we'll close the questions and comments on ordinance number 2021-06. The next ordinance is ordinance number 2021-07, an ordinance fixing meeting place, days, and times for mayor and town council. This essentially sets the meeting as what we're currently existing, which is the second Monday of the month at 6:30 going forward. Anybody have any questions or any comments they desire to make at this point? If not, I guess we will close the questions and comments and open meeting on this ordinance also. And at this point, that brings to a close the public hearing for those 2 ordinances. The next item is the Iowa Mayor and Town Council is opening up the regular meeting of City Hall this day, December 13th at 6:30. It's called to order. A quorum is established and everybody is present. I'd ask you to stand, and I'd ask Mr. Becknell to give us the invocation, if you'd be so kind.
Please bow your heads. Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first one is I entertain a motion to, we have to add 2 items to the agenda. One is a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury and the town of Iowa. This is for where we provide them access to the community center to help people related to food service and distribution. The second item is an executive summary at the end of the meeting to be held to discuss legal actions and lawsuits against the town and to bring the council up on the status and answer any questions in an executive session that they may have.
I'll make that motion to add those two items to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So's passed and it's been amended. Okay, we'll start out, approval of minutes.
I move to adopt the agenda as amended.
Okay,
Okay. And we need a second. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And next item would be approval of minutes as submitted for the regular meeting held November 8th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, first item on the old business, a request by Mr. Johnny Mouton to allow a trailer park at the old Iowa Trailer Park located on Highway 90 and Stockwell Street. And Mr. Bouquet, I guess we have determined that this is not grandfathered.
I've reviewed and issued an opinion that I did receive your emails and I have read the materials, but I haven't changed my opinion as to what I initially exposed. As I explained to you the best I can, I do not think, so this falls under a grandfather clause, within the meaning as I understand.
So then the second part of that is if you would request, I guess, the council to either approve or disapprove, making an exception, we can bring it forward because it is on the agenda.
Well, Mr. Bouquet asked to prove that it was an operating park, and it was operating. And the town sold Mr. Laprousse or his family a water meter, and the receipt says Iowa Trailer Park. And he asked me for receipts, and I got all the receipts where people were paying rent. Now, you could say, well, how about all the others? Well, there was a hurricane, and everything was wiped out. And he just got his place back together where he could start renting a few spots. So, yeah, I'd like for you to vote on it. I really would.
I guess I'll open up this one for council to discuss if what are y'all's desire? Do you wish to grant a variance or not? That's your call. That's not mine.
I would like to go ahead and grant a variance.
Anybody, anything, any discussion or anything at this point?
Mr. Gerald brought up, generally I'm opposed to it. Mr. Mouton's stuff is really, really nice, I think. And then Mr. Gerald brought up a point that if someone else were to purchase it, would they have to, I'm not in construction, so it's a genuine question. Would they have to dig some of that stuff out, and like how much prep would they have to do? Would that make it essentially where it's not going to be sold? It's going to be a
The
vacant
question comes
property?
up then that if you decide to, and I'm not saying you do, I'm saying if you decide to grant or give him a variance, you are entitled to put whatever criteria you want to on it. To say, if you want to say that he cannot transfer it outside, at some point, he is not allowed to transfer it without it coming back to the council to approve it to continue. You can add those type of things. Or if you want something else, we talked about the other one, adding the fences. Those things can be added on the exception. Is that right, Mr. Bouquet?
That's correct. Well, I want you to understand something. There was a question of whether or not he was grandfathered in as a trailer park. Reviewing all of the materials, I was of the opinion that it was not, and I initially told you that to begin with. The other question is, when you adopted your ordinance prohibiting additional mobile home parks, you did you put in your ordinance a provision that the council could grant an exception, or variance would be the better word to use. So you had that provision, and you did that, well, honestly, to provide some flexibility if you wanted to do that. But in that way, it put it within your control as to what you would do. Grandfathering, and in all honesty, grandfathering is a very narrow concept, and it's very limited. And I've tried to explain, you can't expand it, And if it wasn't functioning, my recollection was one, maybe two mobile homes there at one point or the last year or so.
Yeah, last
But
6, 8 months.
the other thing is, actually, as it is, if you wanted to put one trailer on the property, under the current ordinances, it would be possible because it's a plot, and you can put one mobile home on a plot under certain regulations. Just to make it clear.
Well,
So that's what I'm trying to say.
to be fair,
If the motion is to grant a variance, Daryl, and it's a second, then of course you take action. But that's a decision that the council can make, as explained. Under your ordinance, you have a provisions for that.
And like I say, you're allowed to add, say, we want to make the variance, with the idea that if you want to restrict to be able to transfer to somebody else at some point, or if you want things to be done to the property itself, that's entirely with you, but it's all on the council.
I say let him do it, his place is the best looking place on Highway 90. It looks so horrible.
I like the idea of the transfer.
The transfer, okay.
that wouldn't work for me because, I'm 75 years old. At some point, my family's gonna wanna sell.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna see a whole lot more ice cream seasons.
No, I just
So
mean the idea.
if the council would say, no, you gotta come back after I put all that work in,
Well-
that wouldn't work.
Well, I'm saying you could say the transfer, if it changes, or a 15-year, you could even put a time limit. There are things that you can do to somewhat work around it.
There's a couple of things I'd like to ask. First of all, if it's granted as a new park, then I gotta start engineering again. It's gotta be re-engineered. That's a problem, because you got so many things underground that, you start digging all that stuff up, it can be a problem. Now, I know how to build an RV park. I'm not asking you for a mobile home park. I'm asking you for a nice, clean RV park. Not a campground, no parties, no fires, no nothing. It's a place for people that want to rest and sleep. Now, when I first started that, this town was pretty nasty to me, on Facebook and all that. And I told them what I was going to do, and I did it. And that park is the only park in this parish that's 100% full. You know why? I'm there. You don't park in the road. You don't park on the grass. You carry your garbage out. You don't leave it on, and if you don't like it, you leave. Well, I would build something like that. Now, the problem is that's not a big piece of property. And if somebody were to go in there and say, I'm gonna build a standalone mobile home park or RV park, they can't make a profit. It has to be somebody like me that's already got the insurance and I just add on to my insurance. My expenses won't be as high, but a small park like that can't make a profit because it'll cost me $250,000 to $300,000 just to get it where it looks nice and it'll work and that. And I'd have to get the approval for RVs. I don't intend to put mobile homes out there. It's strictly going to be RV park for residential purposes. And if the council wants to do it, fine. Now, I can tell you, he's right. That property, if it's not a park, is 100% worthless. You gotta dig all that stuff up. There's a lot of stuff underground out there. So,
Okay.
if I have to start re-engineering it, there's no need to vote on it, because I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Well, let me, before we go any farther, I'd like to make sure if there's anybody in the audience that would like to come up and have an opportunity to say before, we find out what the council may do, just to hear different opinions. If there's anybody here present that would like to bring some up or make some comments, just come up and give your name, and we're going to kind of limit it because tonight's a big meeting, so tell me about, no more than, let's say, 3 minutes on that.
Kenneth Landry, 609 Fairview Street. I'm opposed to it because I'm opposed to, we did an ordinance. Why do we do an ordinance? To make rules. If we go against the ordinance, what's the purpose of it? Let's do away with the ordinance if we're not going to go by it.
Okay. Anybody else have anything that they may want to bring up at this point? Then the question comes, what is the desire of the council?
Does the council have any questions for me?
I'm open, you know, if they did,
If
I
they
guess.
do, I'll answer any of them.
So then the next item is there anything, if it was to be approved, is there anything that you would want to add into the variance that you would specifically think would be appropriate?
Is it gonna be made to look just like your park across the street?
No, it can't be made to look exactly like my park across the street.
Okay.
That's over $1 million. And this little park, Mr. Laprouche had it showing a bunch of RVs. You can't put that many on it. He didn't know how to build an RV park. It wouldn't be that many, you know, so it would be smaller than the number of trailers. Now, it's gonna be nice, and it's gonna be clean, it's gonna be safe, it'll be well lighted, and it'll be well taken care of.
How many do you anticipate when you say the small? We talking
Well, when,
3, 5?
see, when this came up, I stopped doing everything I was doing. I didn't want to spend any more money until I got this cleared up. But my thinking, just because I already built one, my thinking is maybe 12, 14 at the most. But you gotta have enough room for something that's 40 feet long, and you gotta have enough room for 2 cars. You know, you can't just cram them in. You gotta have place for parking. And you know, we got people that I get calls every day from single parents. They can't afford to live in some of the housing today. There's a terrible housing shortage. And, you know, I told you when I built the other park, there ain't gonna be no junky trailers in my park. There wouldn't be no junky trailers in that park. I don't allow it. You call me up and I ask you, describe your RV.
So you're anticipating them though to be long-term, not short-term
Well,
rentals?
when I say long-term, I rent for 30 days. That's the maximum. Now, at the end of that 30 days, I might rent to you again, but if you cause a problem, at the end of that 30 days, you ain't gonna be there the next 30 days. I'm not gonna allow it. I'm too old to
Yeah.
hassle people, you know, and fight with people.
Now, you know, on your current one, you know, one of the requirements was to, you know, the lighting, which you've done, but also putting up fencing to a, you know, to the back of the.
And I did that.
No, I mean, on this one, would that also
Well,
be?
I was thinking at first to put fencing all the way around. And I looked at that side street and I said, boy, that sure would make that ugly. So I would put fencing on the north side and then on the west side.
Yeah.
Because if you put a fence, it'd look like a jail.
No,
you know, and I don't want that.
Well, and I'm only asking just for clarification so that they know, I mean.
And
that's-
I'd have to have a lot of lighting because I wouldn't have fencing. You know, I'd have to have a lot of lighting. I may end up being able to put the little patio lights like I have now, but I would put them between instead of on the spaces. The spaces are not gonna be concrete to start with. They're gonna be limestone, but nice limestone and well maintained. The roads will be limestone. Limestone is not dusty.
Okay.
It's easy to maintain, and, you know, I can always get more limestone. And it soaks up water, so you ain't got a mud pit out there. You know, I don't like that. I don't like mud, and people don't like that.
Yeah, the other question, just out of curiosity, will you be putting up a camera system to monitor all that stuff also?
I usually do that. I hadn't figured that out yet because I don't know where the poles are gonna be, but I have it at the other place somewhat. I mean, you can't possibly have every single, you know, piece of it
No,
covered.
I just was wondering on that.
But I do have that in mind. Like I said, I shut it down when I found out that this might not be approved. So I hadn't done a whole lot more other than, you know, try to, you know, give the family, let them know that I'm willing to sign a buy-sell agreement if I can use it as an RV park.
Then-
That's what I'm willing to do that.
So
And then,
I
you
hope,
know-
I guess he's answered the questions I can come to. I don't know if you might have some others, but I hope that, you know, help take into your consideration of your concern. So then at this point, then I want to bring it up to the council, you know, what is your desires on this?
make a motion that we amend it in his favor.
Do you want to make it with the agreement of what we've just, incorporating what he said he was going to do, you know, related to security, lighting, fencing,
Yeah.
and, you know,
And
that
its
part?
purpose as an RV park is what you're saying.
And to serve as an RV park.
That's an adjustment, that's an exception.
Well, doesn't the town have two classifications,
It
trailer
does.
park and
It does.
campground?
It does.
And if you're in a trailer park, you can put a mobile home or an RV, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
So that's, what I want is a trailer park classification.
Okay.
I don't want a campground.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we're going to do it, we can just call it a RV with the understanding that, you know, it's what's traditionally be an RV, and so you can't move a mobile home into it at point. It would be strictly an RV
Yeah, I
with
don't want
that.
a mobile home in there.
Okay.
So,
So those would, that's an adjustment, that's a variance.
okay. So I guess a motion has been made to issue a variance with the understanding that the items that we discussed would be done as Mr. Mouton's done, and that it would be a RV park, short-term rental, kind of like he's handling with the other. So, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. So I guess all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
No.
So, three against, 2 for, so it doesn't pass. Uh, Okay, all right. You know, I brought it up, you know, I've done what we can do, so thank you.
Very much for trying, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Okay, the next item is motion to adopt ordinance 2021-06, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances reapportioning single-member voting districts for the Board of Council members for the town of Iowa in accordance with the 2020 census, of which we've got a copy of it there.
I move to adopt ordinance 2021-06.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the next item, motion to adopt ordinance number 2021-07, an ordinance fixing meeting place, days, and times for mayor and the town of council.
So move.
Second.
Second, Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next item, Jeff Cudley. He's not here, but he has submitted for us for consideration of the council a motion to approve payment number 5 and the no lien certificate for Perk Development for a final payment of $19,755. This is on the community center roofing, is that correct? So,
So move.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A report on all other projects. I guess the only thing that we can say, just so that we're aware of, I think you made mention, Daniel, that y'all going to meet a little bit, to scope
sir.
out a little bit.
Thursday.
So that everybody's aware of it. The other thing is, we are, I guess, it's kind of now in Walt's, and I'll let him address about the water line in the park, part of it. And I guess that we'll hold off on addressing anything as far as the new ball field, the status on all of that. You know, we do have some of those, so. Other than that, we'll move on to Walt. If you please come up, sit down, and tell us what's going on.
Well, I like all your red shirts. It makes me in the Christmas mood there. It's pretty nice. Item number 1, excuse me, is the contractor's invoice for North Store. That's for McManus Construction. And it's pay request number 1. We are recommending that its first pay request in the amount of $61,635.05 be approved for payment.
This is just what they call just getting everything started, getting equipment and all that. Is that
Well,
what-
no, sir, he's been laying pipe. He's got about
Oh,
12%
oh,
on the ground.
I hadn't been back here, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, he's, if anything is
Okay,
hurting his production is, he's having challenges getting the pipe. He's actually having to send his own trucks to the pipe plant in Lafayette to get the material. It's
Wow,
it's
good.
getting to be real,
I'm glad to
you
do
know,
it.
they're working through it. It's just disappointing, but they would have, but they've got a real good superintendent on the job, and they're slowly marching down as they have material available. So
Okay,
If you don't see them, it's because they don't have stuff to put in the ground, so.
Oh, no, I hadn't been back there, so
No,
that's
no,
that's why I was
they've,
asking for Nessa about
They're,
it.
they're getting
back
close
there.
to, James's house, so,
Okay.
so he can see them every day.
Then a motion to approve payment of the invoice?
I make a motion to approve the, invoice one dash
Sec-
2020-178 North Store.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
And we also now have in that same project, engineer's estimate number one, also for this work, in the amount of $8,691.85.
Make that motion to approve that first payment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Appreciate that. The water line update project, as you know, we received bids and awarded it to Blake D. Hines in the amount of $163,730. We are starting with the contract documents to be executed. We also understand that we have made application for a grant for this project, and we are anticipating receiving the grant letter. We should have had it already by this meeting date.
Yeah, and then what it is, we've got a couple of grants so that the net effect of this project right here won't come out of our Americans Recovery Act. We're actually using other grants to be able to pay for it so that those funds, the $1 million funds that, you know, the government's giving us, the federal government's giving us, will be able to use for other things. So we're trying to maximize our citizens' value by trying to use these other grants and partial to be able to use those in addition to save those others for some bigger projects also. Just wanted to make sure they were aware of that.
As soon as we know about the grant status, we'll try to schedule a pre-construction conference. Obviously, it's going to be no earlier than January, so and we'll get moving on that job.
And, you give it maybe a status update. We talked about repaving or the project south of Steins for
Yeah,
two of those roads.
We're working on the construction plans to get those roads together and out for solicitation.
And yeah, and we're looking at repairing, it'll be repairing the potholes and then overlaying the, with the asphalt for those roads back there that I guess everybody's aware of that never did get sealed off. It'll be two roads, correct?
It'd be the whole little loop there.
Yep. And then, of course, just to bring you up to date to know what our status is, that's going to be what we budgeted, and that is budgeted for road repair in our current budget. The next item that we will be going, as far as roads, we're trying to identify them to move forward. It'll be either first or second, or one of those roads will be the next roads for major repairs, so that we are always picking up in the budget. We'll put it in the next year's budget, but I want to make sure, unless somebody has somewhere else that is really, bad off, that's going to be our plan to address it, because there are quite a few potholes on that one that we feel, and that just indicated that we need to go ahead and fix it. So, sorry about that.
Right, no. I mean, and you have a good point there. If we can catch the roads before they get in such bad condition, it's actually a lot more economical to service them with some patching. We had to do what Helen and Barkley, we had to reconstruct the whole foundation there because those roads had just
Completely
It was
deteriorated.
just gone, just the base was just shot, and so if we can catch it before we get to that level, it's better for our pocketbooks.
Yep. And so I just want to make sure you're aware, so you can tell that, your respective constituents that we are trying, we are getting aggressive compared to prior years to take care of the things. Anything else, Mr.
I'm
Walker?
trying to get the Iowa sewer pond plans out,
Fantastic.
and then we will,
Get that. That's a $1.6 million project that FEMA may pay a portion, or we're hoping all of it, but if not, that we may be able to use some of the American recovery funds on that as an option. But, preferably we want to grab it from everywhere else to save that for some other issues that we have, so.
right, we have the gentleman that's helping us with the FEMA application is really trying to get it for us. I know he's turned it into the players upstairs, and he's trying to coax it along. He's had some, help me with this and help me with that, and we're trying to give him every information he can so that at the end of the day, we hit a home run, so.
I hope you have a nice Christmas. Anybody have any questions for Walt? Not?
I'm gonna have a good Christmas. My daughter's getting married Friday, so I'm
Oh.
kind of distracted right now.
Hey, you got a costly Christmas.
Oh,
7
yeah,
minutes
oh, yeah,
long.
it's a lot of fun, but it's only, we're gonna have fun. It's okay. So,
Well, you have a good time, and we wish you Merry Christmas and congratulations on all that. So,
okay, y'all also. Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Walt.
yes, sir. The next item is is basically a resolution. This is resolution number 2021-19. It's come to our attention that we have been charging for connections outside the city limits of the town, and we haven't done it properly legally. There should have been a resolution in place to,
Well, I'm not saying we did anything illegal.
well, I'm not saying,
I'm
but
just saying the resolution might be.
appropriate to fix it going forward.
So that we keep the record.
And to be not only that, to also be consistent, because we're not consistent in our billings on this, on others, so we want to be consistent with the resolution.
In there.
Whereas the town of Iowa is presently providing water service to 987 and 944 South Thompson Avenues by means of one connection. And whereas it is requested that 2 new water taps be made in the town's new water line on the west side of Thompson Avenue, homeowners at listed locations shall pay for all costs incurred to provide the water service. Be it resolved by the town council of the town of Iowa that upon payment of all costs incurred to provide water to the said water services shall be provided. Further resolved that all water services provided to out-of-town locations shall be charged an out-of-town monthly fee of $12 per month in addition to the metered water usage or flat fee charge. So I guess,
Which is the fee that's being charged. It's
well,
like- I understand they want two taps.
there you go, please, sir. Yes, sir.
I said that so much, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah. And not only that, though, we are undercharging some others to be
Well,
consistent.
we'll have to review that. This is what they've been charged.
Right, no, but that's what I'm saying, his is correct, but we have some others to be consistent, that's what this is going to straighten out, to make sure that they also have to pay for we're being consistent, Mr. Bouquet. I don't want anybody to say we're not being standard in our application and our methodology. Yes, sir, Mr. Stelling.
Well, Tony Stelling, 987 South Thompson Road. I requested to the council in 90, I think, maybe 91, to run my own water line to connect to the sewer. I mean, to the water. I wish it was a sewer too, but the water. So at that point, we did, and then my neighbor hooked on as well. Two neighbors did, actually, coming to City Hall and doing everything correctly. So when we made the request, I talked to one of the employees here, and I think he got with somebody and said it would be about $1,200 or $1,500. I don't remember. Anyway, both my neighbor and I have paid the money. So, and then they came up with that there's some lines up underneath there that the city can't do, so it's going to have to be done by an outside contractor. So I think besides the approval from y'all, I think we're waiting for bids from outside contractors to do the bore. But the $12, you can double that if you want to. I'm glad to pay that.
No, I want to be consistent.
No problem.
We've been charging you that.
Yeah,
We just want
yeah.
to be consistent.
Sure.
And
Oh,
make sure
absolutely.
to
I
be
understand.
able that everybody knows that
Yes,
it's
sir.
not, and it
I
isn't.
understand.
And I want to make sure that
Sure,
those are done.
absolutely. Yes, sir.
And as hopefully we've been doing the right things as far as water and sewer, that you've not had any problems. Hopefully they've been on top of it.
No, it's a blessing for us, yeah.
Does anybody have anything else to talk about? If not, I guess I entertain a motion to,
I move to adopt resolution number 2021-19.
Second?
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The next item on the list is Clayton, you want to come up and give a street and maintenance department update?
Good evening.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, in the past month, we've hung the Christmas banners and decorations on the pole, the lighted decoration. excuse me, we've completed installing the street signs. Some still need straightening and stuff. We'll get to that. Contractor for doing the street repairs at Ash Ridge told me that Wednesday he's gonna start.
So I'll fix those potholes right there between the Miller and, the first street.
Yeah, they're
Get all
gonna do
that fixed.
the two entrances and some on each side on Ash Street itself. I'm sorry,
I don't remember the name of it, but
Woodland.
I know it.
Woodland, yes. We're still doing some mowing. We've helped with some water leaks. And if Energy has installed streetlights where we didn't have any that needed some. If y'all know of any other places, just let me know and I'll contact.
I just have a question, and I don't know if this pertains to you, Clayton, or not, but the lights in the park, any of those has Energy been contacted about changing any of those that are not?
That's not
working?
Energy, that's on us.
That's on y'all, okay.
Yes, I do, the ball committee requested some. I do have an electrician that's gonna.
I do
okay.
want to add a light here in the,
Park?
the playground right here, because it's pretty dark. We need to put a good, strong light right there in the middle of that playground so that kids can come when it's dark, before it's bedtime, and play, because, some of that's dark, and I just think it adds value to have that for at least as long as the park is open at night.
Okay. I just had somebody ask me about the lights, Clayton, on the field. That's all I was asking,
Yes.
just didn't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Take care. Next, James Hardy, Sewer Department, report and update.
Good evening. Since the last meeting, we dug around a manhole next to La Puente and inspected it for any cracks or leaks, which it didn't have any. We installed a new hour meter at our Beanfield lift station. We installed a new shield on our east pump at our pilot lift station. We capped off a sewer cleanout at 406 North Lightner. We jetted out a sewer line twice at 610 North Kenny. We bolted back our impeller on our east pump at U-Lockett. We also changed out a section of pipe and a coupling on west pump at U-Lockett and changed the standpipe out on the east pump at U-Lockett. We put up landmark sewer signs at manholes off of Low Grout Road. And if I don't see anybody, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and prayers to all people involved in the tornadoes that happened this Friday.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
All right. Charles, you want to give us a water maintenance department update?
Hello.
Good morning.
All right. We don't look like we're gonna make our end of the year deadline, because it's a lot of stuff slowing us down. We got probably 35 meters in this past month since the last meeting. We had a lot of odd jobs, water leaks, and helping with other stuff, because everybody's taking vacations and stuff like that, and it slows us down from us being able to stay just on water meters. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and once we get all the water meters installed, we'll have to take about a 6-month time to start giving people notice of their
Yeah.
usages and things. And so it's going to be a while. I mean, we are going to go to it, but I want to give people sufficient lead time to understand their water usage so that they can correct it. Because ultimately what we would like to do, those small users, we'd like to reduce the minimum rate. But then, once you exceed it, you'll have, we will recover that money on those that are heavier users. So that, it benefits the poor and the elderly, it may give them an advantage trying to keep the cost as low as possible. So I just want to make sure y'all aware that's our plan of action. We still want to have all our meters in and working so that we can work out any bugs, and have enough time so that we can report it and figure out if there's any issues, but we ultimately will go on it, but it'll be 6 or 8 months before that's done. Thank you.
All right.
All right, have a good Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas.
All right. Next, the next item is, this is properties for condemnation. I guess Officer Crooks will give us an update on all 4 of them and ask what we need to do on them.
Well, they're all up past their time given by y'all, so they need to come up and update.
Does anybody,
Y'all wanna just go by the list?
Yep, just go by the list.
310 Highway 90 West.
is there anybody here present for 310 Highway 90 West?
gas station
Yes.
on 90.
Yes, that's the one that, is it, what was the guy's name? Yeah, has purchased it, and that they understand that they are going to be yanking the tanks out of the ground and as part of their activity, right?
Y'all have record on the person who,
Keith knows who it is.
Who is it, Keith?
to my knowledge, Bobby
Stolzheimer? Okay.
So we need to see what's recorded on the record books to see if that transfer's been made, so that we can officially send notice for a status update, being if it is fact.
When I was advised of it, it was under contract to him. I don't know if the transaction.
And so we need to find out.
If there's a new one. 502 and 500 Railroad.
Is there somebody here representing those?
That's, Mr. Miller. As far as I can tell, there hasn't been any progress made, but if I remember correctly, Mr. Natali was helping him.
To clean it up, supposedly.
Yeah, they were
But-
supposed to help clean it up, but there was a problem with the wet ground and getting the machines back there. But as far as I can see, there's no progress been made.
Okay, so what is our next action on that, Mr.?
He was given, came to his first meeting, he was given 4 months. When he came to that one, is whenever it came up that Mr. Natali was trying to help him, y'all gave him another 4 months.
Okay, so
That
that's,
second 4 months is up.
okay, so what do we need to do, Mr. Bouquet, to get this taken care of?
That's up to the council's choice, but if we, I guess we need to proceed with condemnation proceedings.
Okay,
And we'll need to send that, let's give them another letter, but let's tell them that the council, I guess what you could do is vote to take procedures on condemnation on the property, and then we'll go from there. I would like to send them another notice, but tell them that did they receive notice of the meeting tonight? Did they receive, let's confirm it with them, send them a letter that you failed to appear. Action taken by the council is to proceed with condemnation. And send them, let's verify, send them a notice, and then we'll go from there.
so I guess what we probably need is the council, I guess, a resolution, is a resolution
That would take,
to start
motion.
condemnation?
Well, you're gonna have to send him a letter telling them that he has a hearing to appear for a hearing for the condemnation.
we did
Because,
have that.
because y'all have already given him time.
Yeah.
Okay,
So now you're going to actually take action for
Okay, well,
condemnation,
that-
so he has to come before the board to receive that notice.
okay, so do we have to take any action, or is this just automatically?
We have to vote to have a notice sent to him saying.
Is my memory wrong? I thought we like outsourced it to the parish to do the inspection. Is that not the first?
Didn't they do the inspection already on it?
There was never an inspection done on his because there are actually roofs and walls that are falling in.
So it's
Oh,
beyond,
I
it
see.
doesn't need
I
to.
see. That's right.
There's no way that can be repaired. It's all falling
Okay.
down.
So Mr. Natali was offering to help take it down, is what you had said.
I
They
see.
weren't gonna repair it. He was
Gotcha.
helping to get rid of it.
Get rid of it for him. Okay, so he's not living in either property.
He does.
He does.
one spot of it is.
Yeah.
But we still have to, it's still, that's not a,
I believe he stays in 502. Sometimes he's in the house, sometimes he's in his RV that's in the driveway.
So what wording do we need, Mr. Bouquet?
I wish that we send a notice of that your failure to appear as are notified for report on the status of your work on the council has reviewed and has decided to proceed with condemnation. We're setting a condemnation hearing on such and such a date. And so your appearance is required at that time.
so do you have that, so that, okay,
Yes.
okay,
So can I say so moved?
Yes.
okay, second,
Se-
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That does bring up something, I'm just, that we need probably clarification on, is if a person is living in a tent or living in this mechanism that they don't have water and sewer, we do not have a specific ordinance, is that correct, Officer Crooks, that we probably need to put something in place to keep people from living in tents and living in cars because they do not have a structure or a home. And Mr. Bouquet, we'll have to get with you to figure out how we're gonna work it, because that's, you know, A, it's not safe or sanitary, but
Well,
B,
what we're gonna have to do, I don't know, let's look at, always my classic example, let's don't invent the wheel. Let's look at other municipalities who've addressed that problem and see what they've done, and then we'll proceed to adopt our
Okay.
own ordinance.
so,
Maybe modifying it some to meet our needs.
so Crooks, will you do some background check with what Lake Charles and all of them are doing? Because this is starting to become an issue, not only there, but in other places. And we've had some problems where people have thrown up tents in the gully, which is, unfortunately, that's not a right of way anyway. But we don't want those people, you know, just arbitrarily doing that, because it takes down, and it's a threat for most of the people here, potentially.
Is there any type of immediate action we can do, like a temporary stay or anything like that?
I don't know the answer to that question.
We'll research
Can we
it.
just make sure it's on for
The
next
next
month?
agenda. Yeah, I just want to make sure,
That's a good one, yeah.
so we kind of fix it as we go. Okay, the last item, I guess, is 410 South Sherman.
Yeah, I guess, the owner of that one called me after she got our letter. She said that they can't make this meeting, so she asked me to reschedule it to next month.
Okay, are they making any progress, or can
So-
you see?
They have the same time frame. They came in, they were given 4 months to either tear it down or repair it. They came back after 4 months and said that they were gonna tear down the broken parts and rebuild it.
Okay,
I gave them another 4 months to do that. Their 4 months has passed. When she called me, she said they're still gonna repair the walls and put it back together, but they're waiting for it to get leveled. But it's been a 4-month period.
well, I know, and we have to see an action before we can really justify giving an extension. And you can let her know that we will put it on for next month for the same condemnation.
Well, basically send the same notice.
So a motion,
You wanna do a proceeding for condemnation?
Proceeding for condemnation. And it's set to, yeah, that's your neighbors.
Oh, I thought that was
The
Gene
one where the tree
Alder's.
fell in.
Oh, yeah.
No, Gina hasn't showed up to answer for that one yet.
No.
They've got it leveled.
They've got it leveled, yeah, they've started working.
oh, so they have started, so, well, we'll still ask them to come in next month. They have to come in, or we'll start the process. I mean,
Yes, sir, that's your option. I don't know whether what's been done or not, but clearly, if nothing's been done, you want to go ahead and proceed with
Okay.
condemnation. It's gonna be a notice that they can come at the next hearing and then give a
explain it to
report.
us and give
You
us,
don't have to, you're gonna make a vote at your next meeting to either condemn these
Okay.
properties or not.
so I guess the motion's similar to the last one, that we had on the notification
So
of the.
much. I move to notify property owners of 410 South Sherman that we're proceeding to condemnation. Is that sufficient?
That's good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Appreciate all your help. And I guess there was just one question about Bowers, about the sewer, and I think you've kind of addressed your concern and everything.
When it was brought up to me, Ms. Kim had said that she was gonna take care of the notice, and if they didn't do it within a certain time frame, the town was gonna turn the water off until they complied with it.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's why we just want to make sure it's getting taken care of, and I want to document it on the, on the video.
I do have one question. The property on Lightner that was taken down, do you know who the owner of the property is? Because there is somebody interested in buying the property.
There's an issue with that because the two legal owners are deceased, and
Subrogation.
there's been no succession to the children, so that's a
Has-
little complicated.
They're trying to
Okay,
clear up the
okay.
succession.
Can you, will they let you know when that happens, or do they have to? I just want to notify the one who wants to purchase the
I
property.
believe there's a daughter that we've been in contact with that's interested in the property, I guess restoring it or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So she would be the best point of contact to see what's gonna happen next with that.
And while you're at it, find out when they're going to remove the stuff that they tore down.
So I'm gonna start a new case for the
That's good. That's
debris
good.
removal.
That's
So
good.
The condemnation be closed
Just so
out.
we can go ahead and make sure the action gets taken.
He, I mean, he passed away. That was the gentleman that was living in the
Mr.
house.
Malbrough was his,
Yeah.
Ken's wife? Can I go back to this question, in reference to tents or whatever, cars, are people on their own property or?
Yes,
on
well,
public property?
in one case, the guy's kind of, it's a succession issue, and him and his sister own it, but they can't get along, and so he's just living in his vehicle on the property.
Well,
And
so
whether,
if they're property owners, we have to look at it and give it in a different light. We'll have to
yeah,
look
well,
at
no, that's why I want to address,
That was
because
my
if you
question.
don't have
Or is
water,
it putting tents or parking cars on?
well, they're sleeping in their car.
Right-of-ways or?
They're sleeping in their
There
car.
actually has been a recent situation that the PD's been going on multiple times because there's a homeless man that's going on different people's property.
That's
and
another
setting a
one.
tent.
Okay.
So you've got two cases. You've got those cases that the homeless ones are doing, but then you also have people that don't have a place to live and they're living on their property without,
Address it in different ways.
yeah, we'll have to address both of them, I mean, to be honest with you, so.
The Louisiana vagrancy law has been repealed, but I guess it's possible to make a local ordinance that deals with vagrancy as well.
Yeah, but not call it vagrancy, it's a health and
Well, that situation, vagrancy was what covered people who were homeless and living on the public property, couldn't take care of themselves. That's, no. But I'm talking in terms of people who are, we do have more than the person you're talking about.
Yeah, no, we got both of them. That's what I'm saying. We need to
have
address.
people that come here, they get kicked out of their houses by their family, they live in the woods, and they live in tents, and they live in the abandoned trailers and things like that.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying. We're trying to be consistent on our
I
applications.
just wanted to know
Yes, both of them.
how you approach it is different, if they're on their own property or if it's like a vacancy.
Yeah, we have to address it, both of them. That's the problem. So it's, I mean, it may not be something quick, but we need to start toward it so that at some point.
We'll look at that, that was my question.
Okay. All right. Then I guess, thank you for your,
I just want to specify these notices for the actual condemnation hearing, y'all want that for this next meeting?
yes, sir.
That's the end. Is that the intent?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, the regular meeting. not
Yes.
the
No,
special.
we're rolling everything, trying to do everything in one meeting, so.
Okay.
Okay. Really, you have a good Christmas, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow at lunch, huh?
Yes. See y'all tomorrow.
All right. Then, Keith, you want to give a, and Keith, after the, after the meeting, if you'll stay, we're going to have an executive session, and we'll make sure you help us on.
Okay, no problem. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
I don't have much. Our stats, 59 offenses, 215 tickets and summons, 14 traffic accidents, 1 with injuries, 11 arrests, and 248 calls for service. That's pretty much it, except, let y'all know this past Saturday, we participated in the Shop with a Cop program, and we got to take some kids Christmas shopping and let them pick out what they wanted, so that was a blessing. And
Highway residents.
yes,
Okay.
we took them to Jennings Walmart,
Oh,
because that's
okay.
where the program's at, but yes. So that was nice. And that's pretty much all I got.
The only thing is later on the agenda, we talk about the 30,000 from the state, so, just to be
Yes, we're trying to
aware.
complete the grant for the purchase of that, it's a patrol unit. It's further down on the agenda.
Yes,
We're gonna do the first lease payment, and the difference in that 30 grand we're gonna use to purchase the markings
Land.
and the equipment that goes on that unit.
yeah. I just want to bring it up, so that he
Yeah.
knows
So the
that you're
most
aware of
it
it,
will
we're going to
be paid
address
with
it.
the grant. It's
Yeah.
not, it'll come under our grant line.
This is Troy
That's the
Romero.
objective,
Was
yes.
one of the things that he passed to help out the police department, so,
Thank you for bringing that up.
yes, sir.
All right, thank y'all.
Have a good Christmas.
Y'all too.
Okay, the next item is Fire Chief Scooter Lewis. Yes, ma'am, please. Yeah, oh, please, come up. If y'all come up, I'll put you in at any point. I apologize. I don't always bring it up, but, I try to make,
I don't know the proper way to do
we
it.
don't.
My name is Wilma Kemp. I live on Hardy Street. And I wanted to thank Mr. Hanson. We had a lot of trouble with that trailer park, that FEMA trailer park that got moved in. It was very bad. The man had a gun, was pointing it at everybody, pulling the trigger, going house to house, asking for money, doing all kind of bad things. And there's like 4 trailers that were just constant trouble all the time. They came out, they took the men away, and next thing you know, other people got moved out too. But that trailer park is not as good as they said it was gonna be. They've never put the fence up. They've never done any of the other things that they said they were gonna do. We live on this street. We deal with these people. And we
Want them to do what they're supposed to do.
yes, sir.
They were supposed to have vetted all of those people
Yeah.
before they let them move in. The gentleman with the gun was convicted twice before, and then there was the other trailer directly across from me. They just got out of prison.
Mr. Bouquet, you know, on that, we did agree that he was going to do certain activity. Should we send him a notice to come up and explain why he's not done what he said? Or can we rescind the, you know, the grandfather or whatever that was? That was a variance.
I guess we could,
Well, what do we need to do? Maybe that's a better.
honestly, I don't know. I don't think there's an easy way to fix it once it's done, but I would suggest if this has been brought to the council's attention, that the things that were promised for granting the person have not been done, and and ask him to report and come to the council. And then if he doesn't, then we'll look at it and see if there's a violation. But the only thing that we can do is some kind of
Well,
civil action.
then what happens, just to start it out, is, I guess, a motion to be able to send a certified letter.
The chief's got something to say.
I just want to say,
I'm sorry.
the guys, the police officers handle that action very swiftly, and we appreciate feedback from our community. So many times they say, oh, a cop says to do this, or did it. Most of the times, because they don't report the crime. These people were brave enough to report the crime, and we took the appropriate action. So we commend them for working together.
We thank y'all immensely because it's a lot of work on all of us.
Okay.
Have other people been moved into these mobile homes?
I'm sorry,
Are there other new people in the mobile homes now?
not yet.
Why don't we try if there's nothing to prohibit the council to authorizing us, the mayor to issue a letter to the owner and advising as to issues that
The
have not been
status.
sufficiently addressed in reference to permission being granted. We'd have to pull the minutes and look at it.
Okay.
Draft a letter in response to that these items have not been done. More specifically, please, we're requesting that you come to the next council meeting to make a report.
Okay.
And then see what we can try this.
I will say that the issue with the fencing, I'm trying to get in touch with the people who are managing the housing authority, because their fence is down, and he can't put up one until they get theirs picked up. So I've already called and talked to the secretary. She was gonna have the manager call me. I do know they're waiting on FEMA and insurance money to help them. So he was going to come, but he wanted to wait until we can get information from them as to when they can get theirs picked up, so he can put his up. So he does know that he's gotta have it put up. He just has to wait until they can get theirs off of his property in order to put the fence up. Now, that's what I know about the fencing. Him and I haven't spoke.
On that side, but on the other side, they can put it up.
On what side?
The side we live on,
But he was gonna construct the fencing to go behind all of those. The housing, yes.
across the street where I live, they were gonna put a fence up to divide their.
Oh, the few that he has on the side by you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so he hasn't put that one up yet?
No.
Okay.
And that's
all
what I
right.
say, there's a number of things that he said that he was gonna do, and we need to find out, did he do them or not? But we
Okay.
need to start the procedure officially from the council, saying, hey, give me the authorization to send it to him.
Okay, I'll contact the housing people again tomorrow to find out if they have any news of when they're gonna be able to have it picked up. I mean, I would think that they would at least be able to hire somebody just to pick it up and move it off the property, so the new fence could be constructed on his property. You know, like I said, all I know is that they were waiting on FEMA money and insurance money to help with that construction.
Okay.
But I'll check with him on the one on your side of the street. Okay. Uh-huh.
The only other thing that I can come off of mine is inside, if we're gonna allow them to put in mobile homes or something because of the special needs, and we said these conditions are done, maybe we shouldn't issue, don't we have to issue a permit for them to move the trailer, move each trailer in?
The trailers are there.
They're already there.
Yeah, they were there. That was the FEMA trailer that he brought in after we gave the approval.
After they were there before.
No, they weren't there before. It happened after we had our meeting and we granted the variance.
Okay, well, granting a variance is one thing, but if they're gonna be I'm just thinking off the top of my head, if there's a special condition, if there has to be a fence, or there has to be something, maybe we don't issue permits for them to be moved in until the fence is put up, or the special condition is done, and make that very plain to them.
Yeah.
That they're not gonna be
Right,
able.
but they're there.
They're already there. That's what I'm saying. He needs to come in to say what he's done. He's promised some other
They
things.
put it in without permission?
No, we gave him the permits that was entitled to.
When we voted, we asked them to put the fence up.
That was all part
he-
of the,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
We're asking for
some
the
thought should be given
Yeah,
as,
yeah, we
that the mobile home doesn't get in if there's a special, and that's just an example, whatever, but if it's a condition, we don't issue any permits until the condition is complete. I don't know.
we didn't do that. I mean, I think it was kind of
I'm
mis,
not saying that we can't redo what we've done, but I'm just saying that maybe that's what we should do.
that's the way going forward.
In all of these situations.
Yes, I think,
And
yeah.
that way we don't have to.
Go back and check
you know,
them.
To enforce this, we'll have to follow a petition, a legal action against it. And that takes time and money. So as a precaution, I'm just thinking, and I'm sorry, but that's what I.
In the future, we need to make sure they do everything they say they're going to do before they're allowed to. Yep.
Before somebody gets a gun pointed at them.
And obviously, he's not doing a really good enough background check
Well, and
when
that's-
he's allowing these
Yeah,
people to move in.
And he stressed that was one of the things he stressed, that
He
he would
did,
do
he
a
did.
background
Yeah, we have
check
it on
and
camera.
such.
Uh,
We don't have it.
So,
I don't think half the people in there are from Island. And he says he's from Island.
all right. Well, I guess I have a motion for me to proceed forward with requesting him to show up and give a report as to what,
Why things have not been done as agreed upon. And maybe
We can send him a notice to come up with a comprehensive.
and it's much specific.
Okay. So, I guess, can I have a motion? Do I need a motion for that?
No, you don't need a motion.
Okay, well then I apologize as such. We'll go ahead and go on to the next item. Scooter, you want to give us an update?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Stats for November, it's gonna be short and sweet. We had 17 medicals, 4 crashes in town, 5 crashes on the Interstate 10, 2 fire alarms in town, 4 fire alarms where we gave mutual aid, 1 structure fire where we gave mutual aid, and 1 power line arcing call in town, brings it to a total of 34. Also, for the month of November, we did go and participate at the senior center where we gave a talk on fire safety. In the meantime, if I don't see any of y'all between now and the holidays, happy holidays and happy new year to y'all, and may many blessings to you and your families. Does anybody have any
Merry
questions?
Christmas.
Hey, I'm gonna put you on spot.
Yes, sir.
You promised me new ordinance to be brought forward about burning,
Yes, sir.
things. I'm gonna be looking for it the next,
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that, and while I have the council's attention, I looked over the ordinance. Basically, the only thing that really needs to change is the dates. Once I looked over it with a fine tooth comb, where it needs to change is the length of time that it's allowed. So instead of a one-time burn for 30 days, maybe move that back into 7 days.
Okay.
And where we are to be notified for each burn in that 7-day period. to where either the council can say, you want to have it one time, or you can do it multiple times over a 7-day
Yeah, but
period.
What we're looking for, though, is not having to notify that if people have a burn pit at their house, that they can burn small leaves and stuff without notification, as long as it's not, like a windy day or it's a dry, where the Paris issues.
So
We
you're-
want to change that so that they can take care of it, so that we can cut back on the amount of garbage that we're picking up right now with.
Are you wanting to do away with the burn permit for small stuff like that? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
that's kind of what I'm saying, is we want to give people the flexibility, but we got to describe what they're going to burn it in, and it has to offer some protection, that, like say, a burn pit with a covering that they can burn it, so
Well,
that
then
they
I
don't have to put it in bags and then we have to haul off and pay all that extra
I
money.
misunderstood that, but at the same time, it's a very easy fix to where if the council so chooses to have it to where you can have a small burn pit with something over the top of it, then that would be completely allowed as long as it falls into line with your current ordinance and along with the parish ordinance for only natural materials instead of man-made. So as long as it falls into that, other than that, it's just the date on the ordinance where it needs to be scrolled back from 30 to 7 days. So if you want me to reword that, I can.
Yeah, I think we do, and, with the council, because I do know that there are a number of people who want to do it without having to come up and get a permit and things, and it's really, what you're worried about is, hey, is it a dry season that, nobody should burn anything, or wind above a certain degree where that they can monitor and say, yeah, this is, common sense, but we don't want to do it, but, establish those parameters so that we can hold them accountable.
Okay. Not a problem.
And the reason I'm doing it is try to save money on the garbage pickup right now that we're paying, and we're going to continue to pay for that third party. And if I can get this, this takes a certain part of it down, we can keep our rates for garbage to a minimum to raise, so.
Understood. All right. Any other questions for me tonight? All right. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. The next item on the list is a motion to approve the cooperative endeavor agreement by and between the Louisiana Department of Treasury and the state of Louisiana and the town of Iowa, and to authorize me to execute said agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to approve Resolution 2021-18, a resolution of the mayor and the council of the town of Iowa to approve a lease purchase agreement for the acquisition of one police vehicle from Courtesy Automotive Group through Ford Motor Municipal Credit, and authorize the mayor to perform all additional and necessary acts to perfect a lease purchase. It takes quite a while now to get a vehicle, and you have to put this in place. This is the one that Keith was talking about earlier, that we're going to have to file the paperwork with the state for hurricane response equipment, and this vehicle is going to be that equipment.
Yeah, I move to approve resolution 2021-18.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is a resolution setting the town of Iowa monthly garbage rate. We went through quite a bit to try to keep the cost as low as possible. And of course, some of the cost was more than $20 per person per household unit. We've come up with an acceptable way that people can continue the way they're used to on putting garbage out. We've just broke it out to be two different vendors. We've got an agreement and contract, of course, with Waste Management for the picking up just the cans. And we've got a short-term contract that we're going to use for a while that establish a minimum for them. And right now, they're doing more than the minimum. We're going to use that on a short-term basis, but we've done an estimate, and basically we need to increase our garbage price to cover that cost. And we may end up subsidizing a little of it, but it's because we have so much unknown and people are still putting out massive amounts of garbage and we want to pick it up. The only thing that will be different is white goods are not being picked up at all. That is entirely up to the homeowner to dispose of through their methodology. So whereas the town requested for proposals, sealed bids for collection and disposal of residential solid waste with the exception of bulk items, and whereas the town councils having received, reviewed, and accepted the only solid waste bid, this is Waste Management, which is $17.45 per household unit per month, with the exception of bulk items. And whereas to provide for the collection and disposal of this bulk garbage, the town of Iowa must contract with an additional company for an additional cost of not less than $1 per household per month. The combined cost to the town of Iowa for the collection and disposal, including bulk garbage, exceeds the amount the town collects. Therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and town council in regular session today that we hereby would want to set the town's garbage rate for residential garbage collection at $19 per household per month, effective the 1st of January. It says
On this, I got a problem with the white goods. You know, I've been on this council a long time, we always picked up white goods.
Well, the white goods I'm talking about is the refrigeration.
I understand what it is, because if you want the homeowner to do it, how many homeowners have a truck to haul it off?
Well, a lot of times though, when you buy the replacement, you can pay the extra $20 and those people will take care of it. Unfortunately, there's environmental issues that it gets involved with. And when we're talking about white goods, we're talking mostly refrigerators and those, you know, and let's say ovens and those dishwashers. That's basically the majority of what the white goods are.
Washers
Now,
and dryers.
And washer and dryers, yeah. And so those are very difficult. It also takes up more space in the landfill, so they charge more, and then that gets passed on to us. And so it's hard to handle that. It's easier for the homeowner to be able to, when they buy their new one, just contract, and that they all give you that option to, you know, hey, we'll haul away your old stuff for X number of dollars. And it's just with the environmental issues with, they cannot drop the refrigerators off in the landfill. And then you have all that you have to handle for the refrigeration. So it's just, for us, that's a small part that we just cannot handle, because when we included that, that's when Waste Management and Republic went way up on what they were wanting to charge. You know, they were talking $26, $28 a month per account. Well, our people can't afford that. I mean, you know, we're trying to keep it down because a third of our population doesn't make much more than minimum wage or a minimal amount. And this is the only thing that I could work with that would allow us to keep the price low and yet keep everything picked up as much as possible. You know, they're still picking up the furniture, they're still picking up all the, you know, minimal construction. Now, if it's major construction, but I mean, you know how sometimes you'll just put in a window and you'll put it out there, they will pick that up. They just won't pick up, I want to destroy a whole house and move it out on the road and you pick it up. We're not going to do those. And that is a somewhat gray area, but we're trying to work with it so that we are picking up everything in. It's just, we could not resolve unless we increase the price to be able to do that. And it's not fair if 90% of the people don't have that and, you know, 10% do. It's, you know, that charge everybody for that is not appropriate. The other option we would have on that, if you would want to consider and we could pursue, is that we would charge a fee to go do that, and then we would have to contract it with somebody so that they could go and do it, and then you're just using the fee through the town. We can do that, but that would still be separate from here. And I'm open to it if that's what the council would want us to do.
Well, let's see what the people, you know, a lot of people don't buy their goods, and to dispose of it, they have to deliver the goods. Most people buy the goods themselves and install them themselves. I was just wondering what people's gonna do. They're just gonna throw it in the ditch, or they're gonna throw it on the road?
Well, if they do that, they'll get a ticket, and you know, we'll do it, and you know, they can always take it to the disposal centers here locally. It's just, for us, that's a significantly added cost, and we're trying our best to keep it as low as possible. And this was, you know, what worked out with the agreement that we had with that separate company. I do not, I guess I'm okay if you want to authorize me to start looking at setting up a separate fee structure if we have to pick it up. You know, It'd be a billing to that homeowner for that cost of whatever it cost us to do it. But there is some environmental costs and things, especially with the refrigerator.
And then if you bill that resident and they don't pay the bill, then how do you,
Well, we would put it on their bill, and if you don't pay it like everything else, we cut off your water and sewer. Because the garbage is on that too. I'm just saying, if you would
No, I'm
want
just-
that, but,
yeah.
but right now, what we're asking for is just, to be able to continue offering the max with that one exception.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want me to look at that exception, we can figure out something. But it would be an extra cost to that homeowner when that occurs.
Mr. Paul, why is it 19 instead of 1845?
I think we done the calculation, it's more than $1 that we're paying for. And in fact, we're probably, based on what happened in this month, as much as we're picking up, we're probably going to be subsidizing a little of it. And I'm hoping that over 6 months, we'll have a lot more data to go out and truly bid it out to try to get it lower. So, I am taking a little bit of a chance on our actual billing to be able to say, okay, I am going to hope that, we're not going to do, how many loads did you say were they done this month?
They've done 8 already.
8 just this week, he just started. So we figured roughly 5 loads a month. And here in the first week, we got 8 loads. So, we know that we may subsidize it a little, but we want to make sure we maximize until we get enough data to be able to bid it out for.
Let me say something too. When he finished with 5 loads, he let me know that he was done. He wasn't gonna pick up any more until I had talked to the mayor about it. And we said, yeah, we still got a lot of debris that has not been picked up.
We still
It's
want to
not
get our
it
town
done.
clean, and
And we're talking about Troy Fondo, TNT. Some of you
Yeah.
guys know Troy, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we're doing is, that's why I was talking with Scooter about, hey, maybe if people start burning, their limbs and stuff, we can cut back on that load to truly things that maybe should be put out there. But right now, we don't give them that option. The only option they have is to put it on the side of the road and not us picking it up. And so that's what I'm saying. In this case, we're trying to minimize, the increase overall, because we're not doing anything else. And then looking at it and trying to monitor and trying to do things we can do to either, maybe in the future, even reduce it, which, I don't know if that's going to be possible depending on the way prices are going, but that's, we're trying to be very conscientious that people can't really afford big increases. So-
I move to approve resolution 2021-13.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I apologize for being long-winded on it, just trying to. The next item, motion to approve resolution 2021-14, a resolution adopting the LCDBG CV Citizen Participation Plan. What happened is we done this, and it come to find out they changed up how you have to go to be able to, this is for the vent system. You have to now do this in front of having the meeting. We had a meeting before and done it. Well, they come back and said, no, you have to do this, and then you have to have the meeting. So it's a moving target on that CDBG grants, and so we're making resolutions that need to be done to be able to follow what we need to get that grant.
I move to approve resolution 2021-14.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to approve resolution 2021-15, a resolution adopting the LCDBG-CV procurement policy. They have specific items that we need to do per policy, and this just puts it in motion. We are following it. That's correct. That's why I thought we were. But we need to have it as a resolution to be able to do it.
Motion to approve resolution 2021-15.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, another one is motion to approve resolution 2021-16, a resolution entering into agreements associated with administrative and engineering services. This is another one that we have to meet to be able to get the program, so.
Move to approve resolution 2021-16.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one, motion to canvass and tabulate the returns of an election held in the town of Iowa, Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana on November 13th, 2021, authorizing renewal of the levy and collection of 0.5% sales and use tax and perpetuate and adopt the process verbal.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next item, motion to approve resolution 2021-17, a resolution propagating the results of a special election held in the town of Iowa, Louisiana on November 13th, 2021.
Motion to approve resolution 2021-17.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who put that word in there? There should be shame on them.
Hey, I don't read real well too. I make up words as I go along, so. Introduction of ordinance 2021-01, an ordinance providing for the levy and collection of a 0.5% sales and use tax by the town of Iowa in perpetuity beginning July 1st, 2022, in accordance with the provision and terms of Chapter 2D of Subtitle 2, Title 47 of the Louisiana Revised Statute of 1950, as it may be amended under the Uniform Local Sales Tax Code.
So move.
Ordinance amending the budget.
Sorry.
Okay, that's good.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, the next one is introduction of ordinance 2202, an ordinance amending fiscal year 2020-2021 budget for the town of Iowa. This is related to the revenue of we're getting our audited statements, and Dave gave us the numbers. You can look at it. It's, we didn't have enough revenue, and of course, you're required to amend the budget for that.
We don't have
Do we
a
have
choice.
to, is it just an introduction? We don't have to do anything
Right,
else?
you just introduced.
Yep. All right, report of finance. You do have the financial statements in front of you for November. We can look through it real quickly. You know, we're beginning to start obtaining our revenue related to our sales tax. If you look at the sales tax, we met budget, but it wasn't 10 or 20% over budget like it had been for every month since then. So we're still on budget and we're still above budget. And I suspect that that's just a slow month. We'll probably see the increase. We've also started getting our video poker, and that's 1 month, 59,000. That's a lot for our video poker. That's our little casinos right up here at the truck stop. So, you know, it's a good chance that we're probably going to exceed the budget on that. Our occupational license coming in, intergovernmental funds, the next month you should see a big jump. That's when we get, January is when we get the majority of that fund coming in, and we'll see where we're at. Fines, they're a little behind on that, and we'll talk with Keith on that. There's some, I think part of it is the November, December, you know, tickets fell off because of the holidays and we've lost some people and stuff like that. So, you know, that is something we'll have to consider going forward. You see the rest of the revenue. You can see the costs are kind of in line with the budgets on most of these going forward, with the exception a little bit of the court cost, and those costs just keep increasing, and we're required to pay them. That's no choice on it. It's based on tickets. You know, the others you can look at, and if you've got any questions, you know, the sales tax, of course, are always going to be increased. And then we do have some grants, police, jury, drainage. We had a little bit of a grant received, a small amount on that. That's where we're running it all through. You know, I'm not going to go through it. If you've got any specific questions, please feel free to get with me or Cindy. We'll answer any questions you have. And you also have the list of all the payments. I want to bring up some things that we are going to have to do because this is a good time. We're looking at picking up a tractor because we're spending too much maintenance cost on it, trying to keep it up. It's an older one. This is an opportunity that we can get a understate contract, a good rate, and they've already told us they're going up, what was it, 10% or something within 4 or 5 weeks. So we want to go ahead and lock it in. We need that tractor and the mower for those type of items. We still want to look at maybe getting some assistance with that going forward, but we need to keep our equipment up. The other thing is, we're getting our generator Wednesday, and we'll be getting the crane in, at least to get it off. It still will be some time before it's put in place, but I think, Pat, you're working on that right now. Of course, we talked about the, fixing the road that's going on. Is there anything other big items that we're buying or anything?
No, generator will be in Wednesday. Again, like Paul said, we're just gonna take it off the truck, put it on the ground. Working with some different vendors. Try to get a good quote to remove the old generator, put the new generator in, get everything hooked up. Got to get gas run to it. There's a lot of variables to the equation. So we're working through that. We talked about Ash Ridge. That project's going to be started Wednesday, hopefully.
They're finished with potholes, huh? Or they still have some of those?
The potholes are finished.
Okay, and he's fixing to do some more ditching, some more.
Yeah, they're not complete cleaning business. They're still working that.
Yeah.
One thing that did not come up, speaking of Mr. Cudler, was he accepts bids on the 16th to rebuild the water plant. People are here, actually today they were here looking at it, different contractors, so we'll have a better idea when we're gonna be able to get started on that project.
That's pretty big. What was the final hours on that, do you remember?
I do not know. There's still some changes to be made, some tweaks to be done.
Then the others is we have a cooperative endeavor agreement. This is for the food help that we have.
Summertime?
Yeah,
Summertime.
where we provide them a place to come up and meet with people so that they can get assistance on food stuff and everything with the parish.
So we need a motion for that.
A motion, that's right. Motion to accept the cooperative endeavor agreement between Calcasieu Parish Police Jury and the town of Iowa.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Does anybody have anything they want to bring up before we go into the last item on the agenda? Then at this point, I move that we move into executive session, and I ask that anybody not present be able to, please leave, and, you can turn off your camera, and we'll continue everything else.